Hello, I'm Brianna. Welcome to My Life on Paper, where paper and pictures tell my story. And I'm so excited to be working with All About the Base. It's a series with Ginger's Corner. We are using 20 base pages in 20 days in November. I have never really made base pages. I'm super excited to be participating. It was a little bit of overwhelmingness. I grabbed out one of the oldest paper pads that I have. I separated them out into colors. I don't know if you could see that. These are the pink, purple, colors. And I have to tell you, I've been watching a little bit of Janet Madison and RTS. She's no longer making new videos, but she is on YouTube as well as Patreon. But you can go search, and she does base pages. So I have lists like right in front of me on my desk, but I'm taking out just scraps and trying to see, what would make a layout. And I'm also at the same time going, what in the world pictures would I use for these? And that's okay. I don't have to have them pictures in mind at the time. And I hear Janet in my head saying, use papers you love, because if you use papers that you don't like, you're never going to use the base pages. I think this one I'm excited to be using. The next one I put together might be a little difficult, but we'll get there in a minute. So I know I have this polka dot paper, so I trimmed it in half, and I know I've got a little spot up there, so I'm just going to work in how can I get some pictures on the page. And I wasn't sure if I was going to put photo mats on here because, what if you don't have the right number of photos and all that kind of stuff, but I did tack them down a little bit um, because by the time I get back here, I'm going to be like, what was I thinking? Where am I going to put a photo? So it was just in my best interest to put some photo mats down. So you can see I have this kind of narrowed down to what I want to be using. Those cut aparts are from that paper pad, but I decide to cover the seams and that I'm going to use some washi tape for that. And I take this so awesome little thing and I do a fishtail banner. There is that little bit of orange up in in both the cut apart cards. So I decide I'm going to get some washi tape out that's orange and cover my seams with that. Now, I believe that Janet would call this a happy horizontal, not that it needs a name, but it's fun anyway. And, you can do all sorts of different sizes. You could, as far as that band, you can see how I use the pattern paper on the top and bottom. You could do almost like a half and half, honestly, and use two different pattern papers, or mix up the pattern papers in different sizes. Here is my orangish type washi tape. Not sure exactly where I got this from, um, but you're gonna see it's not super sticky, and I might have to use some glue on it. But when I take it out to line the top, oh, I think there was a pineapple underneath there. Wasn't one. Thought it would be best to cover up the pineapple. When you see me take the washi out on top, it's like not straight across. Like I really have to look at it going, what the heck happened here? So it must have been trimmed really wonky, but I'll show you on the camera like right here. And I know it's right there. It's not that it's creased, it's not that it's overlapped on itself. It is cut like that. So I make sure to get it down underneath where I know the cut apart cards will go. These base pages are the best way for getting scraps of paper out of your stash and into your albums. I am super excited. So I did 5 this video. I will have more to come during the month of November, and then I will also start putting these pages together. So what this page will need is obviously the pictures, but then embellishments. So I just started off with some cut aparts, but I still need um, clusters and embellishments and fun things like that. So that will be coming up in the month of November. In case you are new here, I am a big stash diver. I do have a very large stash, which I got organized during uh, COVID, and I had lots of time on my hands. Um, I my current collections, what I call my current collections, are a couple years old, and people usually call them old collections. So everything in perspective is one of my mottos. Um, what's new to me might not be new to you, and that's okay. And that is okay, and I'm embracing it. So here comes the second bunch of papers out of that paper pad, and we have pineapples, and I'm embracing the pineapples. So I just take the cut aparts out and so I can really see what I have and figure out what I want to use. You can see there'll be a lot more left of this paper pad after I'm done. The goal was not to like completely use up any paper pad, but just I went into each um, pad and just made one layout. I I really didn't want to get overwhelmed. I didn't want to put too much thought into it. I just wanted to get these done so that I can play and make some layouts. You can see I took that green piece of paper, I cut that in half. And one of my fears while I was doing these, I did these all at the same time. It took me an hour to put five together. One of my fears was that they were going to come out looking the same. Like once I found a pattern I liked, I was going to make them all the same. So I'm happy to report they do look each of them different. So I did grab that cut apart. Now we've got Life is Good. Trying to figure out how I want to use the journaling spot. Do I want to use it as a journaling spot? Would it mat a photo? Um, can I, leave it for some embellishment? So my brain is really working here. And obviously, if this is an hour, if this is a 20-minute, well, 18-minute video, and I took me an hour, I cut a lot of probably more of the thinking parts out. So at this point, I decided to go more I would call with a grid layout. Um, I've got three 3x4 photos on there, and I'm kind of thinking in the back of my head, Florida pictures. Like we went to Florida in January. It wasn't super warm, but the pineapples, I guess, give the tropical feel. So I'm hoping that's where the direction I can go. Because I always have to be thinking about my pictures, right? So then I will glue these down and essentially, yeah, it just needs to be glued down. I just need to remember where they all go again. But this one was pretty straightforward. I don't know. Janet has not only the happy horizontal, but she also does like a band. Um, so I don't know. This is a little combination of both, maybe. So in the month of November, when I do go to embellish and finish these pages, I will be going to my color boxes to pull out embellishments from there. And someone asked me to do like a video showing that, and I will absolutely do that in November. I think that's an awesome idea. But it's just any maybe digital things that I printed out, or maybe the end of a collection where I could put stuff in a box in the box, or um, just anything of that color that works. So Jan did like sticker binders, and I just have mine um, stuck in iris containers. They're thin iris containers. I would say they're about an inch thick, and they're about 12 inches by 10.5 inches. So, but I'll show that all in a video later this month. All right, there is that one. Now I go to another paper pad and I pull out the scraps. My oldest daughter Jillian just got married at the end of September, and her wedding colors were like mostly it was sage, but also with the just, purple accents. This is not sage. There's a lot of purple, but depending on how this works, I might be able to get some wedding pictures on here. I think that would be fun. We don't have all the wedding pictures back yet, so not sure how that'll look, um but that was one of the things in my head. So I do look for a full sheet of paper first for to be the back. I am not worried about, gutting anything and saving any scraps. These are very old, so however I get them used up, I will be glad. So at this point, I'm thinking, let me use the back for a white sheet of paper, which is probably what I should have done on my other layouts, but that's okay. And I really like these shades of green with the purple, and a couple different shades of purple. And I'm trying to work out how will this work. Um, Thinking of um, the band and the happy horizontal and layering up. There's one with blocks. I'm trying to work out how it blocks. That purple and the green just matched too well with the paper I already have on there. It just melted right into there. So I'm trying to stay away from that, but I love the polka dots. So here I pull out another piece of purple paper. It's still from the same paper pad and trying to figure out how to get these um, everything to go together. And so I work at it for a while and everything just disappears into each other. And then I actually bring out some different paper and I go right over the top of it and I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. How is this going to work? I've got my horizontal band. I've got lots of paper that I can trim up. I'm not afraid of trimming a whole 12 by 12 piece of paper. So I've got my piece of paper and I did not trim that one at all. That light greeny color, that was exactly the way I found it in my stash. I trimmed out some white um, paper to be where I would want to put my photo, and then I'll get my layers put down. This one probably was the fastest one, but it's also probably the most simple one. But that's okay. Nothing has to be complex because you're going to come in with all of your embellishments and finish it off. So, okay, so that was what, number 3, I think. Now I'm going to go back to here now that I've been playing a little bit. Yeah, I think that was number 3. I'm getting a little more confidence. I'm getting things together. This shouldn't be so hard. And Janet has an L design, and I think at this point I'm thinking I could do some kind of L design. That's not really an L in case you didn't know, but I don't want to cut it down yet. I'm still thinking hard. And boy, am I trying to make that polka dot piece of paper work, and it really doesn't. Ooh, here. Anyway, how silly. I mean, okay, that wouldn't be silly, but okay, there. Starting to look like something. Pictures are too big. So I did trim a 4 by 6 down to 2 3 by 4s, which seems to go much better on the layout. Things are starting to come together. I had just this little piece, this little square, cut it in half to make some triangles for a little more interest on the page. And then at some point I go, wait a minute, I could use this above and below. Yay! And this turns out to be my favorite one, and I struggled the most with it. Um, and if I could make, not that I should make everyone the same, but hey, I could. Especially when you sprinkle them throughout your albums. Even though I scrap chronologically, it's chronologically within the last year, so I jump around a lot. Um, Even though my pages are in chronological order in my album, so if I did the same design and sprinkled them throughout, you would, especially with different papers, you would never notice. I guess what I'm trying to say is don't be surprised when you see the scan. Okay, so then my brain goes, put it down horizontally. And then I go, ooh, wait a minute. What happened? Oh, yeah, it's supposed to be vertical. Then when you bring it vertical, you see how terribly I centered it. So using the grid on my mat, I was able to center it perfectly. And I'm back at it. And look, do, 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 do. I just love this one. So then I get those light purple ones on the top and the bottom, and then I move on to the next one. The next one will be number 5. So that will be my final one. I will have close-ups of all of these at the end. I pull out some close to my heart paper, extremely old. I didn't even get this when it first came out. But I do have lots of pieces, and I have big pieces, so I have lots of options. Again, I'm trying to narrow it down is my first thing because I have too many options. I won't get anywhere. I like the color of this. There's not too much pattern. So I start with this and see what would match and what would go. I really like the butterflies. It brings in all the colors. That piece is my favorite of the whole collection with the flowers. That is the only piece of that I have left. This would have been a good one for a block, but you can see there's too many busy patterns going on there right now. I can always come back to this collection and put another base page together. Um, So yeah, again, I'm just looking at my options. What might go, maybe there's something that goes better than the butterflies. So I'm bringing things in and out. I'm trying different colors, trying different patterns and pieces, um, different sizes. And I'm actually embracing this part of the process. It's not frustrating for me at all. It's really getting to play, take your time, and see what you can make and what comes out of it. I don't do this enough. I like to follow a sketch. I go with exactly what's there. So this is really good for me to get out of my box, play a little, relax, put something fun together, um, using what I have. So here I am getting closer to what I want to do. I'm liking these colors together, just trying to figure out what gets to be the big parts and what ratio and all that kind of thing. I figured out I was started off that background paper was a smaller piece. I figured out I had a background with that, so I grabbed that right away. I like how the stripes contrast, so I'll make that a block. And then I've got that lovely butterfly paper that brings all those colors together. I really want to use that. I trim it down to 4 inches across and I will layer that so that you can see some of it. And actually, you see more of it now than you do in the final product. Then I trim the blue down to go as a block in the middle. And as I said, I'm not going to take anything out of the middle of that stripe paper because I have enough paper. I am not saving any. This is about ease and getting them down. Now, my brain said, "Ooh, this looks too flat." So what I did was just distressed, and you'll see, and you won't see me, but I will distress all of these papers. I have a Tim Holtz distressing tool here, and with the Close to My Heart, they've got the white core, so that looks nice together. And I'll come back, and they're all distressed, and it's almost a little bit subtle. It's not a big change there. And I will get those glued down. There is a playlist below with everybody as videos as they're playing along, not only putting base pages together, but also using them. There's also a list of everybody that's playing along, so you can check out their channel as well. I know I have a couple things going on at the beginning of November, so you will not see me playing with these base pages right away at the beginning, but I will be using them throughout the month of November. Here again, I start out with my 4x6 photo, which really limits me, I think, just one photo. So I go back to the 3x4 and I offset them. Now, this doesn't have to stay this way. I can move these when I do come to finish the layout. And that's it. So thanks so much for spending some time with me today. I hope you have a fabulous day and come back and see me again soon to complete these base page layouts.